For both of you, while both Nori and Muriel are on these different paths, it certainly does feel like their stories are connected by this larger idea of sacrifice. Through your storylines, how do you think your characters have sort of emphasized that idea this season?
Yeah, dear sacrifice. I mean, I think that for Nori, there's always been she's either sacrificed her desires in the sense of exploring the unknown when she was with the Harfoot community because there just wasn't the space or the time to entertain her ideas in that way. And then now the sacrifices is parting ways with the stranger, because it's not something that I think she expects at the start of the season. And then as we progress, as she, has all these experiences and meets the stores, she realizes that maybe it's time to just let go of their journey together for now. So yeah, that's how I would say it's a big theme, I think, in her story.
Yeah, I think for Miriel, her sacrifice is about her island, her people, all the people that she represents and wants to sort of guide and lead away from danger. And obviously the sacrifice of parting and sort of sending Elendil off to sort of his higher purpose. And I think, what resonates with me, that idea of sort of a parting of ways, is like this happens in our lives. We have people that hold great significance that we maybe know for a short amount of time or we know for many years. And at a certain point, sometimes your paths might diverge and you certainly hope to find your way back to them. But it's a very sort of, understandable, relatable thing of like, this is this moment where we're going to part and sort of go and be our own individual people and have our own individual journeys. So for Midiel, it's definitely about the greater good, but the most human aspect of that is it's sad to say goodbye. It's sad to say goodbye to someone that you don't want to be apart from and that you feel like you love or you want them to be by your side, whatever that looks like. So I think, we don't sort of say that in so many words. It's definitely more resolute. It's like, take this sword, take this very special sword, and you know what you need to do. But I love the idea of just people that sort of pass through your life that, sort of define who you are in different moments.
Definitely. And just seeing all these sacrifices being made and given all of the events in that's happening in the West and Region, if given the chance, what do you think your characters' reactions would be meeting with characters like Galadriel and just witnessing everything that's happening on that side of the world?
Well, I've met Galadriel. I'm hoping to meet her again. I'm actually very hopeful because, I actually loved working with Morved and I love watching her and I loved her arc this season.
Yeah.
And I was hopeful that we would get to sort of be a meeting of the minds again, because we had some really cool scenes in season one. So I will be curious to see, do their paths cross? And if so, what that would look like, what that sort of alliance would look like. Because, again, end of season one, Midiel was definitely very solid in saying Numenor will return. And it was this sort of very private moment, really, with her and Galadriel and Elendil, and it was a sort of kind of call to arms. So I hope they get to meet again. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. I loved seeing you two together
Yeah.
on screen. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
And for you, Cynthia, did you have a background made for Muriel's childhood, like how she was young and how she became regent and what happened with her mom? And if so, how did that detail and inspiration help your performance this season?
Yeah, it's very interesting because I have the benefit of sort of having some stuff that I can use from the canon, but a lot of gaps. And I did think a lot about what does it mean when you are in a lineage to sort of eventually become leader one day. It means your whole life you will be taught the skills and given the lessons to prepare you one day for that. So she would have a very sort of, rarefied, privileged upbringing. But, Numenorian is an egalitarian society. This isn't about having a silver spoon in your mouth. It's more about here are all the things that you need to learn about human nature, people, leadership to prepare you someday. And Farazan, her cousin, I always imagined that they were kids and they grew up side by side, and there were very few people that would necessarily understand her position. And so it's interesting to see what the relationship becomes and how it sort of twists and turns. And, her father has passed. She really is sort of, pun intended, on an island of one, you know, but she's I think she's somebody who's very emotionally intelligent and inherently understands people, and that's going to prepare her for whatever sort of lies ahead.
Definitely.